Yes, sir. Welcome back to episode 2 of Ball Talk with Paul. Of course, I'm your host, Paul, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Last week, we just got into it, talked a little bit about Jalen Hurts' greatness, talked about Micah Parsons and Terry McLaurin trade requests. I also gave you guys my rankings of NFL teams 1 through 32. Talked a little bit about Shannon Sharp's controversy, and also we talked the Hall of Fame game. But now, this week, we're going to bring you guys some more heat, man, so stay tuned, and we're going to get right to it. Let's go. So here's what we got for tonight's episode of Ball Talk with Paul. First, we're going to be talking a little bit of preseason week 1. We have QB rookie action. We have Mr. Shedeur, Sanders, and Ward, Jaxson Dart, and a few others. Also, I'll be talking about the Eagles open practice on Sunday, the takes that I saw from the team, a couple of injuries to report, and also a player that you should watch out for this year. Also, I have Sha'Carri Richardson talking about her unfortunate incident in the airport and how this could affect her career. Also, I have some WNBA talk tonight. We're going to be talking about the power rankings of the WNBA, who I have in my top 5. And also, we're going to be talking about A'ja Wilson and how dominant she was this last week. And last, but certainly not least, we're going to be talking Jalen Hurts' greatness again, and how all the great quarterbacks from the league talk great about him, but he still continues to get discredited and downplayed by quarterbacks who have not done anywhere near as much as the guys who are praising him. So let's get into all this and let's talk some ball, y'all. So let's get into week 1 preseason in the NFL. Of course, everybody's trying to make the cut and everybody's trying to play at their best. Of course, we had to look at the quarterbacks under a microscope because we want to see if they're going to lead the future or not. So first quarterback I want to talk about, of course, is Mr. Shedeur Sanders. Of course, with the last name Sanders, you're going to have a lot of hype about you. And I don't know if he's lived up to that hype yet, but he has definitely shown that he can be an NFL quarterback in this league. Now, against the Carolina Panthers, he had some times where he did look a little rattled. He always wasn't quick letting the ball go, but he did have some nice, timely throws. Some throws in the pocket, some throws outside the pocket, leading his receivers, throwing in tight windows and space. That's what we wanted to see from Shedeur, right? We wanted to see if he could lead an NFL offense and make some things shake. Now, I do, on the other hand, feel like Shedeur has a lot to learn still. He still is holding the ball too long. Also, I saw one play on 4th down. He tried to make some magic happen, like he was running backwards. But we all know in the NFL, that is never the best thing to do unless you're Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson, one of those type speeds. So, of course, this is a learning curve for Shedeur. Now, he is the 4th quarterback on that depth chart. So that means he still has a long way to go, uphill battle. First, he's going to have to beat out his fellow rookie, Dylan Gabriel, along with Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. Now, my personal opinion, I don't think Shedeur is more than a QB in this league at best. Now, he may become better than that, but right now, that's why I have him. I was not one of the guys that thought he got blackballed in the draft. I thought he went kind of where he should have gone. Now, I do think he could have gone at least 3rd or 4th round, but 1st or 2nd round, that was never in my head for Shedeur. Can throw the ball. He does do things that you want from your quarterback, but he does not do a lot of things I think that will take a franchise to the next level. But we shall see. His career is still young. He's still learning. So hopefully he's just being like a sponge and learning the best that he can from all the guys around him. And hopefully he will be a successful quarterback in this league one day. So let's talk about Mr. Jaxson Dart, somebody who went over Shedeur Sanders and people thought that shouldn't have. My first impression of Jaxson was that guy, he looks like he can definitely be a starter in this league very soon. I saw a lot of poise from him. I saw a lot of quick decisions. I saw him getting out of pocket when he needed to. And I saw his explosive arm. He had a nice, about 40 to 50-yard passing touchdown. That's what you want to see from your young rookie quarterback. Decisiveness, wanting to know what to do with the ball and where to go with it. I think Jaxson Dart is on the trajectory to possibly be the starter for the New York Giants by the end of this year. If Russell Wilson does not play up to par, I'm sure he will get the opportunity because that is their future and they need to invest in it now because the NFC East, as we all know, is loaded with quarterback talent and the Giants are lacking in that department. So if they can find their franchise quarterback, they will definitely be competitive just like the rest of the teams in the NFC East. So we'll see where Jaxson Dart goes. I do like what he did and hopefully we can see some more of it next week. Now let's talk about my dog Cam Ward, man. Miami Hurricane product. Man, that is my guy. If you don't know, I am a Miami Hurricanes fan, so I watched every game of Cam Ward's last year. And all I have to say about Cam is that Tennessee got a real dog, a real leader, somebody who wants to be the best. And that's what you want out of your quarterback, right? You want a guy that's going to come in and show everybody in the organization that you picked the right guy and I'm going to change things around. And I think that's exactly what Cam will do. Now, in his preseason debut, he didn't have that many pass attempts, right? I think he only played a couple of drives. But with the pass attempts that I saw, it looks like him and Calvin really have a special connection, man. I think those two are going to definitely set the league on fire. Calvin Ridley has been yearning for a decent quarterback ever since he left the Falcons with Matt Ryan. And I think Cam Ward will definitely bring that Falcons Calvin Ridley back because Cam has that pop on the ball. He likes to get rid of the ball and he likes to throw his receivers open. So with that being said, watch out for those Tennessee Titans, man, because I heard Cam Ward is going in to the facility at 5 a.m. in the morning, setting the standard for everybody, man. He's holding everybody accountable. That's what you want to see out of your young QB. And to be honest, I feel like Cam is the most disrespected number 1 overall pick ever. Nobody's been talking about him. Everybody's been talking about Shedeur Sanders or Jaxson Dart. But Cam Ward, look out, NFL, because he is coming, he is hungry, and he is ready. Now let's talk a little bit about Jalen Milroe, man. Jalen, he still has a lot to learn. He didn't get too many opportunities, but I can definitely tell he's still having trouble reading the defense. He's still being indecisive of where he wants to go with the ball. And that's not good, right? But he does have some upside with his running ability because that guy is second to none when it comes to being able to get outside the pocket and make something shake with his legs. I do think that he is in a good situation because Seattle is not too sure on Sam Darnold, right? Because Sam was a product of that Viking system last year. And it always helps when you throw into one of the best receivers in the game, being Justin Jefferson, and also an up-and-coming receiver, Jordan Addison. So we shall see what Sam Darnold now does with an older Cooper Kupp and a still young Jaxson and Jigba Smith. I don't really believe in him, so I do think Milroe will have an opportunity. Maybe not this year, but hopefully next year, because I do think he can be an effective quarterback in this league. I don't know if he will change a franchise, but I think he can win you a few games, just like he did at Alabama. So stay on the lookout for Jalen Milroe as well. Now, last and certainly should have been least, Mr. Shough with the New Orleans Saints. He didn't do too bad. He did have a pick 6. I think he was still getting comfortable and adjusted to the speed when he threw that pick. But then he did come back and throw a nice long ball touchdown. So it's always going to be ups and downs with rookies. Now, the Saints, they are definitely in rebuild mode. They don't have much to work with. Their veterans have either retired or left. So they're still a young team. And they have a new head coach in Kellen Moore coming from the Eagles, which, of course, we all know he should have stayed. But that's another conversation. I think Tyler might win you 2 to 3 games this year, maybe 4. He might surprise us. We'll see. I don't really see it. I thought he should have been taken after Shedeur for sure. But that's not what the NFL thought, so that's where they took him. But we will definitely see. A lot of quarterbacks have a lot to prove this year. But I'm rooting for all these guys, man. I know we're turning a new page in the NFL. A lot of my favorites have gone, and we just trying to enter this new generation, man. So we'll keep an eye on these new quarterbacks and see what they got. All right. So next, let's get into this Eagles open practice, guys. Of course, you know Eagles fans always going to show out when their birds are in the link, man. We had over 60,000 fans at a practice. We talking practice, people. What team fan base is doing that? Nobody. Yeah, we just one of a kind, man. If you're not an Eagle fan, you just don't understand. We love our birds to death. We'll ride or die for them anywhere and everywhere. But my takes from the practice, man, we just had a few good things, few bad. First, I want to start off with Mr. Landon Dickerson. He got hurt, of course. We all saw that. I saw it personally. I didn't think it was that bad when it first happened, but I started seeing everybody getting on the knee, so I knew it was kind of serious then. Now, he did walk off kind of under his own pressure. He had some assistance, but I didn't think it was going to be a meniscus. I hate to hear it was a meniscus, but I don't think it's that bad. From what I hear, he will have a chance to be ready for week 1. But if he's not, we will be ready. You know why? Because we have what we call here Stoutland U. Coach Jeff Stoutland has the best offensive line mind in the game. And I'm sure that he will figure it out once we have to assess everything, right? Because we know how much of an impact Landon makes, but we had 28 different starting lineups for the offensive line last year. And not many people even noticed that, right? Because Jeff Stoutland coached up everybody so perfectly that we just feel right in place. And that's what you want out of position coach. Somebody who doesn't panic, who knows how to make the next man elevate his game. And that's what we do in Philly. So I'm not worried about Landon Dickerson's injury too much. I hope he just heals up and gets ready for another Super Bowl run because we definitely going to need him in the long run. Now, let's talk some guys that really stood out to me, man. I'm talking about just all over the place. First, we're going to start with that young boy, Quinyon Mitchell. Man, when I say that guy is a lockdown corner, that's exactly what I mean. A lockdown corner gives you absolutely nothing. I saw this guy lining up on Schmitty. I saw him lining up on Goddard. I saw him locking up Saquon. Like, the guy was everywhere, man. He didn't have a chance to go against A.J. Brown because, unfortunately, A.J. Brown did not participate in the practice. But Quinyon showed me that he is legit number 1 corner. And he will be a top 5 corner at the end of this season, without a doubt in my mind. I do not see anybody with his intensity and his tenacity at the cornerback position too often. Quinyon wants to prove to the league that he is one of the best, and I think that he will definitely do that this year. Hopefully we can coach somebody else up to step up to match his intensity, because I'm not too sure on who's going to be lining up next to him, right? Because Adoree Jaxson, he doesn't look too great so far. Keely Ringo, we all saw how he got thrashed by Jamar Chase, which is, the top of the top. So if you can't lock down Jamar, which, to be fair, nobody can, right? But if you can at least contain him, you're not really going to stick out in this league. Now, hopefully, the guy, Ja'Cory Bennett, that we just got from the Raiders, I've heard a lot of good things about him. He didn't practice, but I keep hearing that he's pretty good. So we'll see if he can lock up that cornerback 2 position. I hope so, because I just want somebody who's going to be locked down next to Quinyon, because that's what we deserve, man. I didn't know how spoiled we were with the Darius Slay last year, man, because we were just hitting on all cylinders. But Quinyon Mitchell is definitely a top 5 cornerback this year. Mark my words. Now let's talk about another guy that really stood out on the defensive side of the ball. That boy Jihaad Campbell from Alabama. When I tell you, he is a real dog, a real ball of energy, just sideline to sideline. Man, I really think he could be one of the best linebackers that this league has ever seen. The way he flies to the ball, the way he has intensity on every play. Not too many linebackers play like that, man. And him learning from Zach Bond, Kobe Dean, Jeremiah Trotter, I can honestly say I think the Eagles have the best linebacker core, top to bottom, hands down, man. We have guys that can just fly and flat out get to it. Hopefully, he definitely becomes one of the next ones of this generation. I think he will, but he has to slow down just a little bit. He has been hurting a few guys in practice, and I heard, they try to get him to hold back, but that's what you want, man. A guy that's going to go 100% all the time. Yeah, not against your guys, but we'll take it anyway, because we know once we get on Sunday, he's going to do the same thing. So Jihaad Campbell, be on the lookout for him, because he's coming for you, and he's coming for you soon. Now let's talk a little bit about the offensive side of the ball, man. It's one guy that really stood out to me, and he wasn't even a starter, man. This guy was on second team. His name is Darius Cooper, rookie from Torrington State University. This guy is a baller, man. When I see him, I see a route technician, somebody who has great hands, great feet, great body control, and has yard after the catch ability, man. To be honest, he really looks like a A.J. Brown Jr., man. I'm not even lying. The guy is built. He has the speed. He has everything. And I know we have a loaded wide receiver room, but man, I really hope Darius can get a shot at least as a wide receiver 4 because I love everything about what I saw. Tanner was loving him as well. He was just throwing it to him left and right because he knew he was going to be there. That's what you want. You want a receiver you know you can rely on. So watch out for Darius Cooper, man. He is next up. If not with the Eagles, hopefully he will get a shot somewhere because he definitely deserves it. But my take from the overall day, man, offense and defense. Defense looked like they were ready, man. They were flat out flying to the ball, causing havoc, man. They even made my boy Jalen Hurts throw a pick 6, man. I think this defense has potential to do what we did again last year. As long as the young guys buy into Vic Fangio's system and really believe it, we can do whatever we want to do, man. The defensive line still looks good. Linebackers look great. Now, the only thing is we do have questions in the secondary, right? Like I said, I don't know who's going to be my cornerback 2, but I do think we will figure that out before the season is over, right? Because we have plenty of depth there, but somebody just has to separate themselves. I think Ja'Cory Bennett will be that guy, but we'll keep our eyes open on that. But as far as the offensive side of the ball, we did look good. Saquon had some nice plays. Smitty had a nice touchdown from Jalen Hurts in the back corner of the end zone. But we didn't look as sharp, of course, right? Because A.J. Brown did not play. And we all know when A.J. doesn't play, our offense is a little bit stagnant. But I'm not worried about that at all, man. It's still early. I did like what Kevin Patullo did in the Browns game. I like my offensive coordinator. He was calling plays left and right that just flowed with the offense. So I'm excited, man. Eagles football, we should all be excited because we have our core. We have our coaches. We look like a team that's built to repeat, man. So be on the lookout for them Eagles again, and hopefully we'll be hosting that Lombardi one more time. So apparently, Sha'Carri Richardson got caught on camera putting hands on her boyfriend, Christian Coleman, in a public airport. Now, my thoughts on this, Ms. Sha'Carri, you should know better than to do this in an airport, for one. For two, you've already been in bad spotlight before with the weed incident before you went to the Olympics, which kind of hurt your career because you were not as big as you could have been, right? You have the Nike sponsors. You trying to get gold at the Olympics. You have everything going for yourself. But instead of keeping your head focused and doing what you need to do to achieve that dream of winning gold for the USA, you out here doing this type of stuff. And now we know as young athletes, it's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that can go wrong to derail your career. But you do not want to bring stuff on yourself that will help you in your career faster. This is just not it. Now, I hope this is a lesson for her because she should know she cannot do these type of things. And I also want to commend her boyfriend, Christian, for not bashing her for doing this. He was very apologetic and very empathetic for her because he knows that it was just in the moment type thing. We all get frustrated and we all have tantrums sometimes. But that does not excuse the fact to do this, especially in a public setting. Now, women are typically not as bashed as men for putting their hands on men, but we all know when a man puts his hands on a woman, it's the end of the world. And we have to stop this double standard, right? Because a woman should be held just as accountable as a man should. I'm not saying in everything Sha'Carri has or she should go to jail, but she definitely needs to come out and apologize publicly to this man for doing this to him. This not only hurt herself, but it could have hurt him as well. And he is a track runner himself. So we just have to keep all these things in consideration, people, and just know that nobody should be allowed to put their hands on anybody. And you, as an athlete, should know that because you have too much to lose out here. So please stay on the mission, stay focused, and keep grinding. Let's talk some WNBA talk. We've had a lot of great basketball played this year. We've had a lot of drama going on, a lot of ups and downs for a lot of players. But overall, it's been a great season, man. And hopefully this playoffs, it only continues to get better. But first, let's talk about Miss A. Wilson, who I think is the face of this league. With her 32-point and 20 rebound game last week, the best ever game recorded for a WNBA. Nobody's ever done this. She is one of the most transcendent players of this generation, for sure. I think she will go down as, if not the best, one of the best in the league. I don't know if she will win the championship this year because the Aces have a lot of question marks. One of them being Miss Jewel Lloyd. She's just not been playing up to par, and a few other of the ladies. But I think they will have a great shot. But we'll see. Hopefully somebody can turn that around for them and help Miss Asia get to another championship because she definitely deserves it. Now let's talk WNBA power rankings. My top 5 teams in the league right now. There's not too many teams in the league, but you have to pick 5 of them, right? So of course, at number 1, I got Minnesota. They've only lost 5 or 6 games this year. They are looking pretty solid as a whole. And they have the MVP looking like Napheesa Carter. She's just a baller, man. Averaging over 16 points, couple of rebounds, a lot of assists. She's just killing, man. Killing the game. I think that team as a whole is just the best of the best. Then I got New York Liberty. They're just balling right now, too, as a whole. And they're hurt. Breonna Stewart got hurt like a week or 2 ago. So she's still recovering. But they still have Sabrina Ionescu. They have Jaquel Jones. So they still have a talented roster, man. And I think that they are definitely going to come out of the East. But we'll see, because you never know in women's basketball. Anything could happen. Next up, we have Atlanta. Atlanta, they are playing some great basketball this year. They have played solid as a team. Nobody's really stood out to me, but I think as a team, they could possibly make some noise. Maybe give the Liberty some run. We'll see. Next, we have the Phoenix Mercury. Now, Phoenix Mercury, they definitely have some pieces that could make some noise. Of course, they got Brittany Griner, Skylar Diggins, and a few other pieces. But they just have to get it together, man. They've never gotten over that hump. I don't know if they will this year because Minnesota is definitely looking tough as a whole. But we'll see. Playoff basketball, anything can happen. Last but not least, I have the Las Vegas Valkyries. They are hooping, and they have just gotten on the scene as a team this year. So I like when expansion teams come in the league and just make a statement, right? Like, we're here. We're not going anywhere. You guys got to treat us just like the rest of these teams. So hopefully they can make some noise in the playoffs as well. Just give girls some competitive run and maybe make a shot at that championship. We'll see. Stay tuned on that. So for my top 5 WNBA players, of course, we have the ones that's been killing it all year. First up, I have Napheesa Carter, the front runner for the MVP this year. She has just been a bucket. Over 23 points per game, just a dominant force. She needs her recognition this year because she has definitely taken the league by storm. Next, we have A'ja Wilson. Of course, she's averaging over 22 points per game and about 10 rebounds. She's just a dominant force, man, and she's been doing this ever since she stepped into the league. I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. Not to mention, she has a signature shoe for her sorority. Who's doing that? A'ja Wilson is just that girl. Next, we have Kelsey Mitchell for the Indiana Fever. She has been balling. Everybody talks about Caitlin Clark for the Fever, but really, that's Kelsey Mitchell's team, averaging over 19 points. She is a dominant bucket. She is the dominant factor for that team. So we need to start addressing her as such. She is that girl. Next, we have Kelsey Plum for the Los Angeles Sparks. Now, she is just a spark for that team and that offense. I've seen her run the floor, play defense, do everything she needs to do to will her team to a victory. That's what your leader is supposed to do. And Miss Plum, she does that. So we got to give her credit as well. And last but not least, I have Sabrina Ionescu, one of the best point guards in the game. especially from that three-point line. Just a deadly shooter. She's averaging over 19 points per game as well. I think she deserves her credit too, especially with Breanna Stewart getting hurt. She's still continuing to lead this team. Jaquel Jones hasn't been there all season, but Miss Sabrina, she has. So we got to give her flowers, especially for leading her team to the #1 in her conference. So those are my top 5 in the league right now. Let me know if you think I should take somebody out or put somebody else in the comments. So last and certainly not least, we have got to talk about my guy Jalen Hurts one more time. We have to talk about how the greats of the game, Peyton Manning's and Tom Brady's, praise Jalen Hurts for being such a great quarterback, but we have guys in the media like Dan Orlovsky and Chase Daniel that continue to bash him and create this narrative that he is not that guy, which is crazy to me because aren't we supposed to be listening to the guys that have actually done it and not the guys that run out of bounds or are backups their whole career? I think so. That's what I would think. I want to listen to what Peyton Manning says. Peyton Manning says that Jalen Hurts is one of the smartest quarterbacks out there. He can do everything you need him to do. Not to even mention, Peyton said himself, the Eagles run similar plays that the Indianapolis Colts ran for him. So do we call Peyton Manning a system quarterback? No, we don't. We call Jalen Hurts a system quarterback because we don't like to admit that Hurts wins and he does it how he does it. Tom Brady has also praised Jalen Hurts on his leadership skills, being able to make any throw on the field, just being a clutch player, which Tom was a clutch player. But nobody listens and pays attention to that. Nobody raved about Tom Brady's talent when he was coming out of the draft. Nobody expected him to be the greatest quarterback of all time. The man was drafted last in the whole draft. But he grew into be a great quarterback by doing what he needed to do to win. Those first 3 Super Bowl rings, those rings were so-called Bill Belichick's rings because he had that defense so locked down. Everybody knew the Patriots were a defensive team. Nobody was too worried about their offense, but you still have to account for them. Why? Because Tom Brady knew how to win the game. And this is exactly what Jalen Hurts does, but in his fashion. Yes, he did not throw over 3,000 yards this year. Yes, he did not have over 25 passing touchdowns, but he still got the job done. And we just cannot forget we had guys such as Saquon Barkley and our offensive line who can carry the load as well. But when called upon, Hurts steps up. He will do whatever he needs to do, whether that's run, pass, or run you over to get a win. So please stop this notion that my quarterback is not elite, he's not top 10, and he's not great. If you honestly think that about Jalen Hurts, you are just a hater. And you need to admit that and check yourself into a psych ward. So please don't forget to follow all my socials, to like, share, comment, subscribe to this pod. And just remember, we always keep it real, raw, and we always keep it ball here at Ball Talk. All right, guys. So until next time, this is Ball Talk with Paul, and we out.